What if rock music didn't fade away, but was quietly pushed aside? For decades, fans have argued about why rock stopped dominating mainstream culture. Was it natural evolution, changing tastes, or was there something bigger happening behind the scenes? Recently, Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins reignited a theory many people were afraid to say out loud, that rock wasn't replaced organically, it was deliberately dialed down. And when you start connecting the dots, MTV's sudden shift, government policy changes, radio consolidation, industry lawsuits, the story gets a lot more complicated than anyone expected. The moment everything shifted. If you were watching MTV in the late 90s, you felt it. Rock was still huge. Bands were selling millions. Festivals were packed. Yet almost overnight, the spotlight moved. Hip-hop and pop were suddenly everywhere. Rock videos became less frequent. The tone of programming changed. Even the standards shifted. Billy Corgan says he saw it happen in real time. He described it as a gravity shift. One day rock was central to youth culture. The next, it felt like executives had flipped a switch. Music videos that once wouldn't have passed broadcast standards were now allowed. Imagery became edgier. The aesthetic changed. And rock was no longer positioned as the defining voice of a generation. Was that coincidence? Or a decision? Corgan doesn't claim to know every answer. But he insists the pivot wasn't subtle. It was deliberate. And that's where the conversation gets uncomfortable. Because what happened next wasn't just about MTV. The law that changed everything. In 1996, the Telecommunications Act was passed in the United States. On paper, it sounded technical, regulatory, boring, but it changed music forever. Before 1996, there were limits on how many radio stations one company could own. That meant local DJs had power. They could discover a regional band and give them real airtime. They could break an artist organically. That's how countless rock bands built careers. After the act passed, ownership caps disappeared. Corporations bought up hundreds of stations. Independent programming died almost overnight. Instead of a DJ spinning records based on passion, playlists were dictated by corporate offices. And when that happened, something else followed. Control. Instead of hundreds of gatekeepers, there were now a handful. And those gatekeepers decided what the country would hear. For rock bands, especially five-piece groups who wrote their own songs and demanded artistic control, that system wasn't ideal. But for highly managed pop acts, it was perfect. The business of control. A rock band splits profits 5 ways. They argue. They push back. They want publishing rights. They care about authenticity. A solo pop star. Much easier. A label can pair a singer with professional songwriters. Shape the image. Coordinate branding. Lock down creative direction. It's streamlined. Efficient. Predictable. And in a corporate world driven by quarterly profits, predictability wins. Once radio chains were consolidated, it became easier to push specific songs nationwide. One directive. Hundreds of stations. Same playlist coast to coast. And that's when another controversial topic resurfaced. Payola. Officially illegal, but historically persistent. In the early 2000s, investigations uncovered that major labels were making financial deals with radio conglomerates to push certain artists. Millions in fines were issued. Settlements were reached. But the damage had already been done. Pop and hip-hop were heavily funded. Rock began losing mainstream oxygen. Not because fans disappeared, but because exposure shifted. Woodstock 99, the perfect narrative. Then came Woodstock 99. What was supposed to be a celebration turned into chaos. Fires. Riots. Violence. Media frenzy. The coverage was relentless. Rock culture was painted as dangerous. Out of control. Toxic. Executives suddenly had a public reason to pivot away from guitar-driven aggression and toward safer, heavily manufactured pop acts. Whether that pivot was already planned is up for debate. But the optics were convenient. Rock could now be framed as a liability. Safer genres became more attractive for advertisers and corporate partnerships. And once that shift happened, rock's mainstream voice grew quieter. But here's the twist. The fans never left. The ticket sales paradox. Here's where the story becomes strange. Today, many pop artists boast tens of millions of monthly Spotify listeners. Yet some struggle to fill arenas consistently. Meanwhile, legacy rock bands, sometimes with far fewer streaming numbers, sell out stadiums. Why? Because rock built loyal audiences. Multi-generational audiences. While mainstream media may highlight trending singles, rock fans show up in person. They buy tickets. They travel. They commit. Billy Corgan points out the strange divide. Rock dominates ticket sales in many parts of the Western world. Yet it has minimal cultural representation on mainstream platforms. That disconnect is hard to ignore. If rock were truly dead, the arenas wouldn't be packed. So the question becomes, who benefits from minimizing its visibility?
Thank you, my viewer. I hope you keep it here on my channel for more discoveries on all the celebrities' untold journeys. Like, comment, and subscribe on Hajararama channel. Thank you so much.